finishes in the most spectacular manner to win his 8th title in Rome.
At 23 years old, he's one of South America's brightest prospects.
I'm Nicolas Jarry. I'm from Santiago, Chile. My weapon is my serve.
Well, the game's gone stronger, faster, taller, and he's one of those guys. Very athletic, comes at you with big swings, and he seems to be fearless and doesn't mind the bright lights, the spotlight of the big stage. So I think he's a man on the move.
He changed the service motion back end of last year, about a year ago in fact. He mentioned the abbreviated service motion. If you look through the numbers, it's certainly one of the best on tour, so he has great numbers there. Huge, forehand and serve dominated, like so many of the young players these days.
Drilled into the corner with terrific accuracy by Jarry.
His temperament. He's cool under pressure. You know, he doesn't give much away with his behavior, and as you know, that is a very, very positive thing nowadays.
Tennis is in the blood. Jarry's grandfather, Jaime Fiol, reached a career high in the world of 14 in 1974.
He's one of the best Chilean tennis players. He taught me this sport since I was little. He took me to great tournaments I remember Wimbledon when I was like 12. And I remember going to US Open a couple of times, and they used to make an ATP in Santiago, so I was always involved in the tennis. A cool thing he did was he was part of the creation of the ATP, and it was his idea to make the ATP pension. He made all his sons and daughters to play tennis. It was a must until they were 14. So I was always doing sports, and tennis grew every year a little bit more until I began doing some fitness before school. And then when I finished, I dedicated myself completely to the sport.
That dedication has paid off. Jarry has cemented himself in the top 100 of the ATP rankings, and many predict a bright future.
Yeah, he's a guy who could definitely fly the flag for South American tennis. I think Juan Martín del Potro's done that for a number of years, but having a guy like this who has so much talent, he's young, he has kind of a hip way of playing, and he's got a good style about him. I think he's got tremendous upside. It'll be great for tennis to have him succeed.
Of course, the top 3 Chilean players, Masu, Rios, Gonzalez, they always have been players that I looked up to. But outside that, of course, the tall players, Del Potro, that's South American, Silic, Anderson.
We think he's got the tools. He hits the ball really hard. Expect him to be big news and a great player.
Next week on ATP Uncovered, an exclusive all-access pass to the first ATP Masters 1000 event of 2019, Indian Wells. Plus, we take a special look back to last year's Indian Wells final, when Del Potro met Federer in a classic. And don't forget to log on to atptour.com and chat with us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. See you next week.